He took a sip from the old fountain, only to hear, "Now you'll learn what you were chosen for." Beginning. The fountain stood forgotten at the edge of the ruined garden, its stone basin cracked and covered in vines. Birds no longer sang here. The air smelled faintly of metal, of dust. Few ever wandered this far into the abandoned quarter of New Avalon, the last human city still standing after the collapse. But Elias Vey, a tired mechanic's apprentice, found himself here one sweltering afternoon, following the sound of trickling water. He had been running errands, his throat parched, when he stumbled across the fountain, one of the city's ancient relics. A small stream bubbled up from its center, impossibly clear compared to the rust-tainted taps in the districts. Something about it called to him, though he didn't know why. He glanced around. No one was watching. Kneeling, Elias cupped his hands, dipped them into the cool water, and drank. It was sweet, crisp, almost electric as it slid down his throat. For a moment, he felt his whole body hum, as though invisible currents had rushed into his veins. Then he heard it, a voice, inside his mind, deep and resonant, layered with echoes that seemed older than time itself. "You have no idea what you just became. Now you'll learn what you were chosen for." Elias staggered back, gasping, his hands trembling. The fountain's waters rippled as though laughing. "Middle." The voice did not vanish. It lingered inside him like a second heartbeat. At first, Elias thought he was going mad. He stumbled home, tried to sleep, but dreams flooded his mind. Visions of stars collapsing, of cities burning, of vast machines crawling across worlds. And through it all, the voice whispered, "You are bound to the source. The guardians slumber, but you will wake them. The war is coming." By dawn, Elias's skin tingled with strange energy. Lights flickered when he passed. Small tools leapt from shelves into his hands. And when he touched the broken radio in his workshop, it sparked back to life though no power flowed through it. Word spread quickly. A mechanic's boy who could mend with his touch. An orphan who bent machines to his will. Whispers traveled through the crowded streets, chosen, marked, dangerous. Soon, strangers began to watch him, hooded figures in the alleys, silent drones hovering too long overhead. The city's authorities did not take kindly to anomalies. Those who displayed gifts were dragged away, never to be seen again. The voice within urged him, "Run. Leave the city. Find the others." The fountain was the first key. Elias resisted. He didn't want destiny. He wanted a quiet life, repairing gears and engines, surviving the endless grind of ration days. But the choice was slipping from his hands. Because they came for him. Rising conflict. It was night when the black-clad enforcers broke into his quarters. Elias woke to the sound of boots and shouts, doors splintering. He bolted, panic searing through him, his veins blazing with unnatural fire. They chased him through the alleys, weapons glowing. A shot grazed his shoulder, but instead of piercing, the energy flared and dissolved against his skin like sparks striking steel. He didn't understand, but instinct took over. Elias raised his hand. A wall of light burst outward, hurling his pursuers back. He stood frozen, horrified by what he had done. But the voice whispered approval. "The source shields its own. Do not fear. Wield it." With no choice, Elias fled the city. Beyond the walls lay the ash wastes, a barren expanse where few dared travel. There, ruins of the old world slumbered beneath the sands, machines of forgotten wars, bones of empires. And in the wastes, he found her, a woman, cloaked in silver armor that shimmered faintly in starlight. She was waiting, as if she had known he would come. "You drank from the fountain," she said. Her voice was both soft and commanding. "Then you are one of us." Her name was Lyra, the last of the Guardians, ancient protectors who had once wielded the Source to defend humanity against forces beyond the stars. She explained what Elias had become. The fountains were remnants of the Source wells, scattered across the galaxy, hidden after the Great Collapse. Drinking from them awakened dormant potential in those rare few who carried the resonance. Elias was now a bearer, chosen not by chance but by design. And time was short. "The enemy has returned," Lyra said. "They come to finish what they began centuries ago. And now, the Source has chosen you to stand." Elias wanted to laugh, to scream, to deny it all. He was no warrior, no savior. He was just a mechanic. But the voice within, the Source itself, echoed her words. Chosen. The turning point. Lyra trained him in the wastes. Days turned into weeks. Elias learned to channel the energy within, to bend light and matter, to heal and to destroy. He struggled, stumbled, failed often. But each failure hardened him, and with every lesson, the voice grew louder, guiding him. One night, as they camped among ruins, the stars rippled. A vast shadow spread across the sky. The enemy had come, a fleet of dark ships, insect-like, blotting out the heavens. "They are the Herod," Lyra whispered. "They consume worlds, strip them to bone. They ended the old age of guardians. And now, they come for what remains." The fleet descended on New Avalon. The city Elias had fled was bathed in fire. Towers crumbled. People screamed. The enforcers, the council, all their power shattered like glass. Elias froze. His whole life was there. Friends. Neighbors. His home. "Run," Lyra urged. "We are not ready." But Elias shook his head. For the first time, he didn't feel like prey. He felt the fire burning in his veins, the Source demanding to be unleashed. "No," he said. "They'll kill everyone. I won't hide." Climax. They descended into the burning city. Chaos reigned. The Herod poured into the streets, towering creatures of metal and flesh, claws ripping through stone, their ships vomiting fire. Elias raised his hands. The Source surged. Light erupted from his body, forming shields that deflected the enemy's fire. Civilians gaped as a boy they had once dismissed now stood like a wall against destruction. Lyra fought at his side, blade of pure energy carving through monstrosities. Together, they became a beacon in the storm. But the enemy's commander, a towering Herod Lord, descended, its voice like thunder. "You are nothing," it hissed. "A child wielding fire you cannot control." Elias trembled. Part of him believed it. He was just Elias, the mechanic's boy. Then the Source roared within. "Chosen. Not by chance. By need. Stand." And he stood. The battle was fury and light. Elias unleashed torrents of energy, his body searing with power. The Herod Lord struck him again and again, but Elias refused to fall. He remembered every face he had known, every laugh, every dream of peace. He fought not for destiny, but for them. At last, he drove the Source through the monster's chest. It screamed, collapsing into ash and shadows. The fleet faltered. The Herod withdrew, for now, retreating into the void. Ending. When the smoke cleared, New Avalon lay in ruins, but it still stood. Survivors gathered, staring at Elias with awe. He was no longer just a mechanic. He was a symbol, proof that humans were not broken, not finished, that something ancient and powerful still flowed in their blood. Lyra placed a hand on his shoulder. "You are the first in a new age of guardians. but not the last. The source will call others.